Good morning, Trailblazers. Mrs. Cook here. I'm so glad to see you. I've missed all of you so much. I can't wait to see you in the library again. But until then, we're going to start doing a story time once a week here. So at least we'll get to read together for a little bit, right? I hope all of you are taking the time to read. Maybe take a book outside, out on the front lawn or the backyard, anywhere you can go to read. And if you've read all the books in your house, which I know some of you have, you can always go to your e-readers. Have mom or dad or a trusted adult download some e-readers for you. Public Library has them, Amazon has them, and they're free right now. So take advantage of that. So the book I'm going to read for you today is Skippy Jon's, one of my favorites. Every morning, Skippy Jones woke up with the birds. This did not please his mother at all. "Get yourself down here right now, Mr. Kitten Britches," ordered Mama Junebug Jones. "No self-respecting cat ever slept with a flock of birds, or ate worms, or flew, or did his laundry in Miss Doohiggy's bird bath." Oh, he's in big trouble, isn't he? The lecture went on and on as usual. "You've got to do some serious thinking before you leave this room, Mr. Fuzzy Pants," said his mother, "about just what it means to be a cat, not a bird, not a mouse, or a grouse, not a moose or a goose, not a rat or a bat. You need to think about just what it means to be a Siamese cat. And stay out of your closet," she added, closing the bedroom door. But once he was alone, Skippy Jon Jones began to bounce and bounce and bounce on his big boy bed. "Oh, I'm Skippy Jones, and I bounce on my bed, and once or 6 times I land on my head." And on his way down to earth from a gigantic bounce, Skippy Jon Jones shot past his bedroom window. Holy guacamole! What was that? So up he went again, and again it appeared. Then, using his very best Spanish accent, he said, "My ears are too big for my head. My head is too big for my body. I am not a Siamese cat, I'm a Chihuahua." And back on land, Skippy Jon Jones climbed to his toy box and rifled through some of his old junk. After he put on his mask and sword and climbed onto his mouse, Skippy Jon Jones began to sing in a very soft voice. "My name is Skippito Frisquito. I fear not a single bandito. My manners are mellow. I'm sweet like the jello. I get the job done, yes, indeedo." Back in the kitchen, Jujubee, Jezebel, and Jilly Boo Jones were helping Mama Junebug make lunch. "Can Skippy Jon Jones come out of his room now?" asked Jujubee. "No," answered Mama Junebug Jones. "Mr. Fluffernutter is still thinking." In fact, Skippy Jon Jones was not thinking about being a Siamese cat at all. With a walk into his closet, his thoughts took him down a lonesome desert road far, far away in old Mexico. Not long into his journey, a mysterious band of Chihuahuas appeared out of the dust. "Ay, caramba! Who goes there?" asked Skippy Jon Jones. We go by the name of Los Chimichangos, growled Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones. Who are you? Well, I am El Scapito, the great sword fighter, said Skippy Jon Jones. Then the smallest of the small ones spoke up. Why the mosquito, dude? Asked Poquito Tito. I go incognito, said Scapito. Do you like rice and beans? Asked Pinto Lito. See, I love mice and beans, said Scapito. He might be the dog of our dreams, whispered Rosalita. Perhaps, said Tia Mio, if he knows the secret password. Leaning toward Don Diego, El Scapito half sneezed, half spoke the secret word into the Chihuahua's very large ear. Achapichu! Bless you, said Don Diego. Gracias, said Scapito. Then it's true, decreed Don Diego. Yippee, yippee, pito! It's the end of Alfredo Bazito. Scapito is here. We have nothing to fear. Adios to that bad bumbalito. Then all the chimichangos went crazy loco. First they had a fiesta, and then they took a siesta. But after waking up, the chimichangos got down to serious business. Using his paw, Don Diego drew a picture in the sand of the great Bumbalito Pito for Scapito to see. A hush grew over the chimichangos, so great that one could hear a whisker drop. Alfredo Bazito, whispered the crowd. El blimpo Bumbalito Bandito. See, said Paquito Tito. The bandito steals our frijoles. Not your beans, cried Scapito, outraged. Yes, Paquito continued. Red beans, black beans, Boston, baked and blue. Cocoa, coffee, kidney beans, pinto, and jelly too. And now he comes for us, Paquito added. Because we're all full of beans too. Then Don Diego stood tall and in his most somber voice declared, Yo quiero frijoles. Huh? Asked Scapito. The dude just wants his beans back, said Paquito Tito. And you are the dog for the job. Me? Asked Scapito. Then all the chimichangas turned towards Scapito, the best sword fighter. But poor Scapito had no time for a plan, because in the blink of an eye a gigantic shadow darkened the landscape. The chimichangos scattered in all directions. Vamos, Scapito, or it is you the bandito will eat too, they cried. Scapito stood his ground, but his legs shimmied and shook like the jello, and his teeth chattered like castanets. Then a very soft voice he said, My name is Scapito Fresquito. I fear not a single bandito. But Alfred Bazito flew straight for Scapito until the bean-eating bandito hovered only inches away from the great sword fighter's face. Holy for holies, cried Scapito as he thrust his sword into the air. Pop went the bandito, landing on Scapito's sword, and quicker than one could say Chihuahuas, cheese, and crackers, every kind of bean came spilling out of Alfredo Bazito, the Bumblebito Bandito. Then all the doggies burst into song. Yippee, yippito! Our hero is El Scapito. He's the dog of our dreams who delivered the beans, and now we can make our burritos. But back at home there was such a ruckus coming from Skippy Jon Jones' room that Mama Juneberg Jones and the girls just had to find out what was going on. They raced down to the hall to the kitty boy's room. Banguito, Crashito, Papito, Skipito! Just in time to see Skippy Jon Jones' closet exploding. flew candy, beanbag doggies, and the kitty boy with his birthday piñata on his head. Skippy Jon Jones, everyone cried. Uh-oh, he said. Mama Junebug Jones lifted up Skippy Jon and covered his head with furry, purry kisses. What am I going to do with you, Mr. Cocoa Pugs? She scolded. That night, when he was supposed to be going to sleep, Skippy Jon Jones began to bounce and bounce on his big boy bed. Oh, I'm Skippy Jon Jones with a mind of my own, and I'll bounce on my bed for hours. I know I'm a cat, but forget about that. Say good night, Skippy Jon Jones, called his mama. Buenas noches, mis amigos, said Skippy Jon Jones. Thanks for joining me today, boys and girls, and I hope you'll tune in to us next week. I can't wait to see you. Bye.